Hello, I'm LaCorte, and in this video I'd like to share some of my reflections from our course, Leadership and Diplomacy in World War II. Diplomacy is far different in times of war, and options are limited. Geography, competing ideologies, national character, and the personalities of those involved play a huge role. It's often about what can be done as opposed to what one would choose to be done. The realities of the moment ultimately play the largest part in the outcomes. As noted in Lecture 1, Henry Kissinger was quoted as saying that diplomacy is the act of saying "nice doggy" while reaching for a rock. The meetings at Tehran, Yalta, and Potsdam were diplomatic conferences held to strategize and plan for the completion of an Allied victory against Hitler's Germany. Ultimately, the objective was to prevent the possible rise of another Hitler-like figure and subsequent war. The Grand Alliance of the United States, Britain, and Russia were represented at each of the meetings under the leadership of Franklin Delano Roosevelt, then Harry Truman, Winston Churchill, then Clement Attlee, and Marshal Joseph Stalin. The first conference, held at Tehran, secured the timing of Operation Overlord, the entry of Russia on the Eastern Front, Stalin's promise to enter the war against Japan after Germany's defeat, and the beginning of FDR's desired United Nations. The second conference occurred at Yalta in the southern area of the Crimea. Franklin Roosevelt's performance would receive severe criticism. His health was declining rapidly, and just 2 months later he would be dead. The discussions centered on Poland's post-war boundaries, government, and free elections. Through secret agreements between FDR and Stalin, the exiled London government would not be recognized, and free elections in the heavily Catholic area would not occur. In addition, FDR agreed to extra voting rights for Russia in the UN and concessions with regard to Japanese-held territories in China. Stalin was the clear victor at Yalta, while Churchill was largely shut out. The legacy of Yalta is still relevant in today's Europe, and its outcomes will always be a matter of historical discussion. The third and final conference produced the Potsdam Declaration, which called for the unconditional surrender of Japan. Also negotiated were the divided states of post-war Germany, the destruction of Nazism, the prosecution of war criminals, German reparations, and the final recognition of the Red Army's leveling government in Poland. During the conference, President Truman received word of the successful test of an atomic bomb. He shared this news with Stalin, who remained stone-faced, giving no indication of his awareness of the project. This, despite knowing about it as early as 1942. I believe the single most effective leader at the conference was Joseph Stalin. Conferences. Emulating the styles and settings of former Tsar Nicholas II, Stalin's controlled and controlling personality set the tone for the meetings. Always careful and calculating, his guard was never down in any situation, whether at a fist-pounding conference table or at a grand dinner filled with unending vodka toasts. In the end, Stalin achieved the majority of his goals, either through direct diplomacy or through inconsequential broken promises. His post-war Europe created the desired buffer of communist-led countries bordering Russia. Stalin's brutality was unparalleled with regard to foreign as well as domestic enemies. After the Kwantung Army's overwhelming defeat at Nomonhan in 1939, he was successful in brokering an agreement with the Japanese, thereby avoiding a two-front war. The agreement stayed in place until Russia entered the war, weeks prior to its conclusion. His style of negotiation left little room for pushback, and an overwhelming numbers of Russian lives lost gave Stalin an edge that couldn't compare to the production nor strategic contributions of the United States and Britain. Stalin's personality and communist ideology prevented him from cooperating in a manner based on mutual trust, despite his respect for Roosevelt and upset upon hearing of his death. After the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, the United States and Russia entered the Cold War as diplomatic polarization of Eastern and Western governments grew. Only after the fall of the Soviet Union in 1989 would a new chapter begin. Leadership in times of war and peace are very different. In war, the expectations are dependent on multiple factors, including geography, competing ideological beliefs, and the national character of the countries involved. The individual personalities of the commanders and leaders will affect the negotiated outcomes, but ultimately, the wins and losses on the battlefield will determine the outcome of the war. Thank you.